Political pundit Peter Wickham described the current public spat among Team Unity as a political mess. In an interview with SK Newsline, Mr. Wickham offered his views on what transpired at the People's Action Movement PAM convention on Sunday and the People's Labour Party press conference, noting that these public display of disagreement among the coalition partners is never a good look for the coalition.
You know, whenever politicians communicate with each other in the public domain, it signals that there is a breakdown of the internal communication mechanisms and indeed the internal mechanisms for discipline. And it's never a good look. It's never a good look for a political organization, a coalition, or any other such entity. And I think that all the parties concerned would agree that it's an unfortunate place that they've reached. Perhaps it has been reached by virtue of they may agree or they may disagree regarding the cause that they reached this point. But I think that the general agreement was that it's unfortunate that it has come to this.
Mr. Wickham believes that if PAM and CCM decide to change the leadership of the coalition, as in attempting to remove Dr. Harris as Prime Minister, he still has the power to call elections, which would not be good for any of the coalition partners.
Once a person becomes Prime Minister, that person has the option to call an election if the individual is threatened. The other two sides, were they so minded, would have the opportunity to bring a vote of no confidence either in their own government or alternatively in a leader to whom they were previously swearing loyalty. They can do either of those things and they have the numbers to be successful, especially as I do not believe that Labour will object in any way to either vote of no confidence in those regards. The challenge that this creates, however, is that if you are successful in either regard, the Prime Minister has an option to call an election. And this is where things begin to get messy. The only way that you can have a change in leadership where you take an alternative person to the Governor General would be a situation in which the Prime Minister agrees that this is a course of action that he wants to follow. He would advise the Governor General that he no longer commands the majority, and another person would approach the Governor General immediately thereafter and say, I now do command the majority. However, in a situation where the Prime Minister is threatened with a vote of no confidence, either in his government or him personally, he has the option to dissolve Parliament and call an election.
Mr. Wickham was responding to the public spat between coalition members and the Prime Minister, where the leaders of PAM and CCM are alleging that the Prime Minister is attempting to undermine the government by fielding candidates in all 8 constituencies on St. Kitts and pushing for a third term as Prime Minister. Both of these, they say, is against the principle of the Charleston Accord, which was signed by all 3 parties that formed the coalition in 2015. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.